Hello and the warmest welcome to this edition of Captains of Industry. Quoting Martin Luther King, this CEO said what you need in order to be a good leader is to have a tough mind and a tender heart. He stresses the importance of independent thinking amongst his staff, but acknowledges that this leadership style, this allowing people just to be free-spirited, could have cost him a little bit during the recession. Having built up Hollard to become the third largest short-term insurer in the country, Nic Kohler shares his insights with us tonight. He's our Captain of Industry. Nic, thank you very much for being with us. Now, prior to your being CEO, you'd already worked in various capacities at Hollard. You'd been in the company for 10 years, and there was a sense that it was in your DNA, this company. You knew the ins and outs, the vision, the aspirations of the company. So for you personally, was being CEO the next logical step?
Well, firstly, thanks, Lorado, for having me here. It's a real pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
And yes, I think it was certainly something that I felt comfortable with. I felt right about it. My business career started by joining an insurance company that no longer exists today. It's been bought by another company. And at that company, I developed a real appreciation for the destructive nature of corporate bureaucracy and corporate politics.
Yeah.
And so when I joined Hollard, I felt that I had arrived at my kind of business spiritual home. I loved the refreshing way that things were done. I loved the fact that we were encouraged to challenge the status quo, that we didn't take ourselves too seriously, but we took what we did seriously. And so I really embraced that part of the Hollard culture and grew up with it and saw it actually as my responsibility to keep nurturing that aspect of our business and to make sure that we could keep growing as we have done over the last few years and as hopefully we will continue to do without losing the magic of our culture.
I like magic. How do you make short-term insurance magical? Because I'd say in the last 10 years, we've seen many companies coming to the fore, offering consumers everything from medical insurance to funeral insurance to life insurance and innovation in a sea of HIV and those kinds of things. So there are a lot of products out there. How do you make yours stand out? Because obviously you were director of short-term insurance and you really had to reinvigorate the brand.
I think we are in a pretty dull industry, unfortunately, and I think that we have not done ourselves favors as an industry in the way that we have tried to force what we believed our customers needed on our customers, rather than truly standing back and trying to listen to our customers, trying to understand what they really needed, and then building our business around the customer and making sure that our products truly met the customer's needs, that we communicated clearly what the product offered and what the responsibilities of the customer are. And I think it's actually through that relationship with the customer that we can differentiate ourselves. We, as a company, are proud of our track record of innovation. First legal insurance product in South Africa, first pet insurance product in South Africa, first car insurance that's based on the kilometers you drive and so on. But none of these mean anything unless you're responding to a need that the customer has and you're building a relationship with the customer and you're making it easy for the customer to deal with you, and particularly when there's a claim event, which is when the customer really needs you and they're traumatized by the event, for you to be able to do so in an empathetic way that reflects the fact that we see our customer as more than just a premium payer.
Did you say pet insurance?
Pet insurance.
So how did that come about? When you were sitting in the meeting and you were saying this is going to be a great product, how did that come to the fore?
I must be honest, Lorata, I was not around at the time that Hollard introduced PetSure, which is the pet insurance product. But as a result of the fact that we embrace innovation and that we encourage challenging the way things have done, we hear some pretty wacky ideas on a regular basis. And what we have done is we have made sure that we have enough people in the room who are prepared to think out of the box and who are prepared to embrace wacky ideas and say, wait a minute, in there somewhere there's a germ of an idea that could make real business sense. So.
No, absolutely. I mean, I'm being harassed by my neighbor's cat, and I think my next reaction to that cat is going to mean that pet owner needs pet insurance. But you assumed your role around 2008. It was the middle of a global financial crisis, a recession that was unraveling in South Africa. So those were not easy times. As you got into the hot seat, you literally had to crisis manage, I would assume.
That is correct, Loretta, and I think that it's been a tremendous growing experience for me as a leader, and I think that it's been a tremendous learning experience for Hollard as a business. You know, when things are all going well, you become a bit sloppy, you become a bit lazy, and I think that, you know, it has been said by many great leaders that you should never waste a good recession. And I think that is so true. I think the way that we responded to the recession resulted in a far better business, and a business that is not only geared for tremendous growth in the future, but actually is going to be more resilient through the ups and downs of the global economy. Give me some of those
lessons you learned, because we're told that in a time of a recession, when people are not sure of the stability of their jobs, the first thing they dispose of is their short-term insurance, often even their life insurance, because they just need to think about living from paycheck to paycheck, day to day.
That is sadly true. When discretionary spend is diminishing, consumers often prioritize other things above insurance, and in some cases that's entirely legitimate and sensible, and in other cases I believe it's often a mistake, because we play a very important role in society. We provide people with the safety net, the ability to bounce back from catastrophic events. And it is at times like these when the margin for error has been eliminated, and the ability to truly come back from a setback you know, has been destroyed, that insurance is so much more important. We can help people to get back up on their feet, to make sure that they are able to continue to pursue their dreams, whether it's to, you know, build a better house, or put their kids through school, or retire, you know, comfortably. So I think it's a shame that customers do often prioritize insurance quite low on their list. But I think that we as an industry have a role to play in making sure that the products and the value that we add are better appreciated by customers and by society.
Again, obviously, coming in as CEO in 2008, baptism of fire, but you've also said some of the weak links in the system was this innovative thinking that you so thrive on as a company, that because too many people are allowed to work autonomously and independently in the system, you need to tighten the rein a little bit more. Give us a sense of where the weaknesses were and how you overcame those.
I would never want to stifle the innovative bent that we have encouraged and nurtured in our people at Hollard. In fact, we recruit for that attitude, and so we would never try to stifle that. That's a very important part of what has made us successful in the past, and what is going to continue to make us successful in the future. But I think the mistake that we made is that we allowed different parts of the business to become far too independent and to operate without consideration of their impact on the broader system, the Hollard system, frankly, the community as a system in which we operate. And so part of my role was to pull it back together again, and to help people to communicate better and work better with each other, and to make sure that they understood their impact on other parts of the organization, and to share their learnings so that other parts of the organization could benefit from what they were doing well. And so rather than trying to stifle innovation, what we tried to do was to balance the kind of autonomy and independence that had developed with a systems framework that helped people to see their role in the bigger picture and help them to contribute to a broader objective and a broader vision.
Help me understand the Hollard organogram. Apparently this is an independent company, but there's a private family that is the largest shareholder, the Eindhoven family. And they have interests in other insurers, but you're not exposed to those insurers. Help me understand all of that.
Well, of course, Hollard is managed by a management team that is not involved with those other insurance companies, and we are overseen by a board of directors who are not involved with those other insurance companies and who play a very important role in guiding and advising and ultimately signing off on Hollard's strategy and so on. The Eindhoven family is represented on that board, as they are on the boards of the other insurance companies that they're involved with. But they take their responsibilities of making sure that they do not share information inappropriately or confuse their roles in the different companies very seriously. And I don't believe that it has been an issue for us. And to the contrary, I think that they've been a very supportive family that have encouraged us to really chart our own course, rather than responding to some formula that they've developed through their various investments.
I want to see South Africa through your eyes, the prism of your perspective. When I think Hollard, I think funeral covers. That's what I think. And I think South Africa, a country truly obsessed with death. African people are truly obsessed with funeral rites, giving people a decent burial, having money for the funeral. We might not talk about overall savings and pension schemes, but this is the one area that everybody's thinking about. So what is the society? What are the values reflected in the society from the work that you do?
Well, firstly, let me just say that yes, we sell funeral insurance, and we do so in order to meet the need that you have just articulated. It's a relatively small part of our business, actually, and so the South Africa that I see is not necessarily through that lens. Okay. The South Africa that I see is an exciting country with tremendous potential, with flaws that need to be addressed in one shape or form, but one that has got enormous potential in its human resources and in the mineral wealth that we've been blessed with, and in the infrastructure that we have. Yeah. And that has the ability to overcome those problems and to really become part of what I believe is going to be a fantastic African growth story in the future. And so for me, South Africa is far more multifaceted than perhaps the picture you painted. Yeah. And frankly, I think that what the challenges are opportunities for us to think about our role in society and how we can contribute, because I think that every person in this country and every company with resources in this country needs to think about how they're going to make a contribution to a better future and a better South Africa.